You're listening to The Grip, where we take hold of mindset and martial arts. Now, let's get started. Welcome back to The Grip. Today we're diving into one of our special mini episodes where we mix things up with a few fast-paced segments. We'll kick things off with Grip and Go, a round of rapid-fire questions to loosen things up and to get to know our guest in a fun way. Then we'll move into Roll Call, where I bring in questions straight from you, our listeners and audience. That way the guest can tackle what's on your mind. And to wrap it all up, we'll finish with Word into Wisdom. In this segment, the guest picks a number between 1 and 100. That number ties to a word from the NICE list, which can be motivational and uplifting terms, and the naughty list, the gritty, tough, and sometimes challenging words. Once revealed, the guest unpacks the word, sharing their personal definition and how it's shown up in their life or martial arts journey, and what wisdom they take from it. That's it. 3 rounds, 1 conversation. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to The Grip. We have Rod Moore with us today, and if you haven't already, go back and listen to our main conversation. He dives into some really good stuff about his upbringing in Lubbock, his dancing background, his athletics growing up, his merge into college football, and then ultimately into his martial arts career. And everything in between, and the mindset and work ethic that comes with that lifestyle. So please go back and listen to our main episode. It's a good one. But for now, we are going to dive into our mini episode. So what we'll start off with first, Rod, is our Grip and Go section. So this is our rapid fire questions that we'll run through before we get into our audience-based questions. Gotcha. So you ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Okay, so first question is gi or no gi?
No gi.
Favorite cheat meal after a fight?
Ooh, man, that's a loaded question. I would say either a burger, a high-grade burger. I know, BS, grass-fed burger. Or probably a Jets pizza.
Okay. A Jets pizza.
Yeah, there's a place called Jets here. They do Detroit-style deep dish. It's one of my favorite places.
We'll have to check that out. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Ideal submission to win a fight would be?
Ideal submission, either the head and arm or darce.
Okay. Ideal KO to win a fight would be?
Head kick.
Training morning, afternoon, or night?
All 3.
I already knew that was going to be your answer. If you could train with any martial artist, alive or dead, it would be?
Oof. Probably Mighty Mouse.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Do you follow him pretty closely?
Yeah, for sure. I follow a lot of his work.
Why Mighty Mouse?
Well, I mean, it's no secret. The most technical guys are the smallest guys. And he was one of, if not the best, smallest guy. So, yeah.
Yeah. I also, obviously I don't know the guy, but just with all the platforms that he's on, his personality just seems so fun too.
Oh, yeah. Nah,
like he seems so down to earth.
Yeah.
That it would be fun to train with him in that aspect too, just to get to shoot the shit with him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And he, as far as just who he is, reminds me a lot of myself, and the fact that he was in the UFC working construction. And that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, your personal fuel before training is?
Before training, I usually don't intake too much. I usually like working on an empty stomach just because that's when I feel the most energy. Yeah, if anything, I'll take like some key lime juice and cayenne in the morning, or, maybe some salt, like sea salt water or something like that. But yeah, I usually don't take too much in the mornings.
Are you big into the supplement game, Rod, or are you pretty natural based, or what's your mindset on those?
I do supplements, but I wouldn't necessarily call them supplements. I'm more of an herbal guy. So
okay.
Like, I'm heavy into natural herbs. You know, the elderberries, the black seed oils, oregano oils, castor oils, ashwagandha, astragalus root, um,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
supplement wise, not really.
Yeah. Um, the phrase you repeat to yourself on hard days is
I repeat to myself on hard days, I get to.
I love that. I really like that. A wellness habit you wish you started sooner.
Hmm, prioritizing my mineral intake.
Mm. Can you expand on that?
Um, well, we live in times where a lot of our foods are mineral deficient. And so we have to be a lot more intentional about making sure we get specific trace minerals for our body to function at its best. And so
Mhm.
that's something I wasn't necessarily so hip to in prior years as I am
Mhm.
now. And so yeah, that's definitely something I wish I would have known and done.
Mhm. Yeah. And I really only know, like, I'm not super knowledgeable about all the minerals out there. I just know as far as electrolytes and sodium, especially if you're going to be
Mhm.
like high intense cardio and sweating a lot out, that's going to be beneficial in terms of replenishing your body, right?
But yeah, yeah. But even like something as simple as organic sea salt, there's so many minerals in that your body needs and feeds off of that if you would just take that on a regular basis, you would see drastic difference in how you feel and how you overall perform on a day-to-day
Mhm.
basis, even just from an energy level standpoint. Because I mean, the human body initially is designed to heal and, do certain things on its own that most people's is just not because it's not being or in the proper state. And so if just prioritizing the proper state was done, a lot of people would feel a lot better by just doing simple things.
Daily habits like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like it. You feel the most grateful when
When I wake up, uh, yeah, just being able to open my eyes in the morning, put my feet on the ground, and do for self.
Mhm.
That's that's everything.
Good way to start the day. Best advice you've ever received was
Whew. Best advice I've ever received. That's tough. 'Cause I've received a lot of good advice.
Can you give
Oh,
just some examples of some that come to mind or even one experience?
yeah. Because when you say advice, I don't necessarily upfront think about somebody like personal to me. I watch a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of podcasts.
Mhm.
And so a lot of the advice I get is from people that I don't know personally. But like Jim Rohn is one guy I watch a lot. Old school motivational speaker. One of his most profound sayings is, "If nothing changes, nothing changes."
Simple as that.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of people look for things to be better, look for things to improve in their life while simultaneously not doing
Doing
anything
anything.
different themselves. As long as you're doing the same things, you're going to get the same things.
Mhm.
And but yeah, that if nothing changes, nothing changes.
That's really good. I haven't heard that before, but everybody could probably resonate with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Very
Um,
good.
yeah, that's probably as of recent my top one.
I like it. All right, Rod. So we are done with the grip and go or rapid fire series. Now we're going to move on to our roll call series. Okay. So these are questions gathered from the audience, friends, family, people that have just randomly reached out that have questions that want to be answered. So pull some that I thought would be tailored for you. So the first one is, what's the toughest fight you've ever had and what made it so challenging?
Hmm. Toughest fight I've ever had. Probably my last fight. Um, the guy was just a dog. Like I broke his nose in the first round and he didn't flinch. You know what I mean? Like he was still there. He was still coming forward and was still game. And that I respect and tip my hat to him. That was probably my toughest fight so far. Other than I could think back to some amateur fights I had that were pretty tough. None in that way.
Yeah, because when you broke his nose, that happened pretty earlier on into the
Yeah,
fight. I mean,
that
we
was
were
the
there and we were
end of
watching
the
it.
first
And
round.
I was going to say, I remember everybody pretty much thought it was over at that point. Momentum was high. It was pretty gnarly watching from the outside looking in. I'm sure it was even gnarlier being the one to do it.
Yeah.
So when you face somebody like that and you realize, okay, they're not slowing down, do you notice like a mental shift that you have in there? Or it's like just keep putting your nose down and stick
As
to the
far
game
as
plan?
what I'm doing, I'm all out until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely something I took notice of, like,
Yeah.
because
Respect.
a lot of fighters aren't that. Like, their
Mhm.
nose gets broke. There, you know when somebody's broke or when you've broken someone. You know, you
Right.
can feel when it's like, yeah, he doesn't want to be here anymore.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't feel that from him. It's like he's still here to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, respect.
Yeah. How do you handle the mental pressure before a fight?
In my work, I've found through time and experience, the harder you work, the less nerves you have, because regardless of the outcome, you know or don't know whether or not you've done everything you could. And if you know you've done everything you could, what else is there after that? You know what I mean? It's like, if I win or lose, I did everything I could. I can
Yeah.
live with that. You know what I mean? However it plays out, I'm fine with, because I know I left no stone unturned. Versus, probably could have went harder this week. I probably could have worked on this more. I probably could have. Those are the ones that's when you're in the back, like, because that's what you're playing on. Like, man, I should have did this. I could have did that. I didn't get enough of this. You know what I mean?
You're right.
But when that's not the case, and you know, like, no, I left it all. I left it all on the table.
Yeah.
Come fight night, there is no nerves. It's just go.
Yeah. Any rituals or routines that you stand by?
Time with self.
What was that?
Time with self.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That is not even just as a fighter, but as a human being. I feel a lot of people do not prioritize to the capacity that they should. You spending time alone regularly is extremely, extremely significant for mental health. Because until you do so, you don't know you. You don't know you until you really spend consistent time by yourself. Yeah, leading up, the closer I get to fights, the more time I spend alone.
And so with that, because I feel like a lot of people might be thinking like, okay, well, can that lead to loneliness? Or what are you filling that time with
I'm glad you
yourself?
said
Like,
that.
oh, am I sitting there listening to music? Am I sitting watching TV? What should that time with self, what ideally would that look like, is what I'm trying to ask.
What I should be prioritized in that time is looking within. And because you mentioned loneliness, a lot of people perceive being alone as loneliness because they don't know themselves. They haven't spent enough time with themselves. When you spend time with yourself to the capacity of it being healthy, you come to the realization that loneliness, it's not really a thing. Because if I was to just go to the park and sit by myself, am I alone by definition? Yes, but I'm not alone. Like, there's so much life, there's so much happening around you, despite the presence of another human being right there next to you. but you don't tap into that or acknowledge that because you don't spend enough time alone.
Mhm. So let's say, some people say, I'm not very good at being by myself, or, what would I even do for some of this time with myself? What would be some advice that you have in terms of how people could maybe approach these moments in a more constructive and productive manner?
I would say to start by working to, in that time and space of being alone, to not think, to just be, to just sit there and feel and be in that space and not bombard that with societal concepts of what I did yesterday or what I'm doing tomorrow or what this person said or what like make the effort to genuinely empty your mind and detach from the physical
Hmm.
and just be. Cause you'll know when you're doing it. You'll feel when you're doing it. And once you've done it, you'll never look at life the same. You'll never be the same.
I
Once
like it.
once you've gone through that process of sitting with yourself, genuinely emptying your mind and just being present with what is.
My mind goes to just like various mindfulness techniques
Mm-hmm.
and strategies to help people get into that, because it can be a challenging
Yeah.
thing to do, very rewarding. And as we know, there's a lot of research on the benefits of mindfulness meditation, breathing exercises, just being aware of our senses and our surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes even starting one of those practices or approaching them can be probably pretty intimidating.
Oh yeah.
Very rewarding, but it does take a lot of effort and probably energy at the beginning to try to merge into a state of mind like that.
Yeah, and it requires you putting yourself in a specific type of space, in a specific type of quiet, or if you do want sound, there are what I like to use is they have like the bowls that
Mm-hmm.
you or that or the bells that you can it is on actually a significant amount of research behind. In older times they used to have the church bells that rang like throughout cities. Like most cities had a church or a building that had a big bell on it. That sound and that frequency has benefits physically and mentally to it that
Hmm.
is why now those bells don't exist anymore. And so I'll just say that to give you something to look
Mm.
into.
I was just gonna say I want to do my own research on that. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Very cool. Sorry, we went down a rabbit hole there. I like that. I like that topic. How do you bounce back from a loss, both physically and mentally?
That is very easy for me to do. And I think it's because of my initial background in football. In football, we have a saying or a mentality that's um next play. So in football, you run a play regardless of how the play goes. Okay, I got as a running back, I got the ball, I hit the hole, I made somebody miss, I scored a touchdown. Okay, now what? It's like that isolated moment is over. So despite whether it went in your favor or not in your favor, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're stuck in that, if you're set in that, what's in front of you will be neglected.
Mm-hmm.
And my boxing coach, there's another saying he likes to consistently bring up of your rearview mirror being smaller than your windshield for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just to speak to the fact that what's behind you should not be focused on as much as what's in front of you. And
Right.
so in reference to losing a fight, we study, we watch what we did wrong that needs to be corrected, and past that,
Move on.
that I like to refer to it as that version of me no longer even exists
Mm.
because I'm constantly working and growing. So I don't even feel a way about watching the fight that I lost back because it's like, that guy doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore.
Yeah. It's a good way to think about it. I like that. What's a pet peeve you have in the gym or while training?
Ego,
Mm.
ego, ego ego serves no purpose that's good. But especially in the gym. And I've seen ego literally cripple people to the point of their career, it being the downfall in their career.
Yeah. And clearly guides how you present yourself today, too.
Yeah.
So always having like an ego check, but also being aware of other egos around you, which can't really control, but you can learn from.
Mhm.
Good. Who inspires you most in life?
Overall, most in life, I would have to say my father. I've witnessed my dad do things that I've never seen anybody else do. I say that in a way of admiration. My dad he's a man's man. You know what I mean? Like, he's hard. Never seen him really, he doesn't show emotion a lot unless he's got some alcohol in his system. he he wasn't the dad that grew up saying I love you every day, but he showed me he loved me. And that meant more than him telling me.
Mm.
I've watched my dad pull teeth out of his mouth with pliers and take a shot and act like nothing. And I'm talking like teeth that are like this long. I've watched my dad out in the yard working, and he had knee problems from football, and then after football working warehouse for decades and being on concrete. I watched him step off a ladder wrong, and his knee slips out of place, and he sit down on the bucket and pop it back in.
Away he went.
Just do things that the average person is not doing that like that with so little care for, you know what I mean? It's like it was nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
But his ability to withstand pain, I've never seen anything like it from anyone else. His will is unbreakable, and I draw from that. But yeah, no, my dad for sure.
It's amazing. What's the funniest or most unexpected thing that's happened to you while training or during a fight?
My second amateur fight, I got poked in the eye. Or not even like poked in the eye, but like it was a poke, but it was off of him swinging with his hand open. So it was like my eye got like slapped, but the finger like landed on my eyeball and then went off like that, like direct all eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
First round. Second fight, I go to the stool, sit down, and I'm rubbing my eye, of course, when it initially happens, because from it being irritated. I stop rubbing it, start blinking again to start trying to get my vision right. And I blink a few times, sit up on the stool, and I open my eye like to really look for the first time since it got poked. And it's still like super foggy, blurry. I can't even really open it. Keep sitting there rubbing it while I'm on the stool. Bell rings, I stand back up for the second round. I got my vision back now, but I haven't really looked out yet. Ding, ding, ding. We coming back to the middle, and I finally look out, and in my right eye, there's 3 of him.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, closing that eye. And I fought the second and third round with one eye pretty much.
Dang, that's wild. And how did it end up?
I lost that fight.
Dang it.
Yeah, lost that fight. That was my second fight as an amateur. I fought a college wrestler who weighed in 15 pounds more than me. So I showed up to fight. I showed up to weigh-ins at 155. He showed up to weigh-ins at 170 because
Ooh.
he claimed, to his understanding, that fight was at 170, which could have been 100% honest. And so, yeah, He showed up at 170. I showed up at 55. He made the effort to cut and ended up getting down to like 65, like in that couple hours of time. But
It
yeah,
is crazy too to think about, like all the damage and injuries that could be done within an MMA fight and how debilitating an eye poke can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds, and then like from an outsider looking in, you're like, out of all the things, an eye poke is what can and ultimately ends so many fights because it's one, horrible, but two, a lot of times it's like there's only so much you can do, and a lot of times it just kind of sneaks in there.
Yeah,
and
you can't hit or defend what you can't see. And,
right.
So yeah, but no, that was. If I could name another fight that was tough, it was that one.
Yeah, completely unexpected too. I can think one of the funniest moments, Rod, and this is just me from, again, outsider looking in, was when you fought at Texas Live, and after you won, and the sun just like break it down to it, and I think it was like some Latin music that
they played some
was
Spanish
going.
music. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so I'm already cracking up. Everybody's loving it. You're having a good time. You're taking in the moment. But then when you later posted, which I didn't, we weren't sitting close to your family or anything. But then when you later posted, it's like you dancing, and then the next clip is your dad breaking it down almost the same way. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is hilarious. So going back to your dad, just being an inspiration. Yeah. Do you feel like you get kind of and I don't know his personality or anything. What's your dad's name?
Rodney.
Shout out to Rodney.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get that, like, is your dad pretty lighthearted and you get that fun spirit from him?
Yeah. Well, my dad, if my dad's not at work and it's past 11, 12 o'clock, he gonna have a beer in his hand. So yeah, from that point, yeah, dad is the life of the party. His presence is felt.
Yeah.
To say the least, for sure, in any room that he is in.
Yeah. Next question is, how do you choose your walkout song, and do you know the next one for your upcoming fight? Because you've changed your walkout songs. You're not one to stick with one. And so how does that process work?
Nah, my walkouts are selected, honestly, just in what my vibe is at that time, in that window of time, better to say. How I'm feeling in that camp, how I'm feeling in those weeks to months leading up to that fight, where the fight is at, what type of crowd I know is going to be in the fight or in that arena, all of that kind of stuff. What if I want to communicate a specific type of message?
Yeah.
In my
adding
walkout.
To the performance of it. Yeah. And the vibe.
Yeah. All of those components play in.
Yeah. Do you have an idea what you're going to do for January, or too soon yet?
I got an idea, but I'm not sold on anything yet. It's still, I'm still 2 months out, so I got some time.
Yeah. Next is, what's something most people don't know about you, either in the cage or outside of the cage?
I would say my voice, which will be seen in this space, but I don't talk a lot in just my everyday. I'm not a very talkative or outspoken person. I'm somebody in my everyday life that I only speak when I feel it's absolutely necessary. But on the other end of that, when I do talk, almost always I get the reaction of that. Like,
sure.
Like I wasn't expecting all of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would say my voice and
just being heard.
Yeah. What I have to say when I do say something.
Yeah. Okay, last question is, one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self.
Enjoy the journey. Enjoy that moment in that moment, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
and
journey.
a very very clear example where you've been somebody that sets very realistic and high goals. You have high expectations for yourself and you're not afraid to buckle down and work towards those, but also being accepting of plans change. And it doesn't mean that the drive does or the work ethic. We adjust our goals or our
Be able to
paths and
adjust. Yeah.
yeah, I like it. Okay, last part of our mini episode is our word into wisdom. If we haven't already heard enough from you, I feel like you've already given us so many golden nuggets, but this will be a true time where we are going to dive into a more challenging list of words, our naughty list, and then also to get an opportunity to talk about more motivational or uplifting list, our nice list. Okay. So which of the two would you like to start with? Naughty or nice?
We can start with naughty.
Okay. So from 1 to 100, you get to pick a number, and that will lead us to whatever term it is.
68.
68. Ooh. Okay, so 68 is two-faced. So presenting different versions of yourself to manipulate situations. So I'll let you expand on this in any way, shape, or form, Rod. It's really just kind of your experience with this, any wisdom you have, or just like a personal definition.
Man, where do I start with that? I mean, like I spoke to earlier, in times of social media, in times of metaverses and artificial realities, I think we all know people who are one person online and another person in person. And we see so many examples of that in so many spaces and arenas that it's almost common practice now for people to not be who they display themselves as. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, I would say as far as just my experiences with that, I see that almost every day from one person or another. May not be somebody necessarily close to me, but yeah, and I could almost firmly say, at least on a weekly, if not daily basis, I see an example of that.
Yeah. And I feel like it just continues to wrap back around. I'm thinking about earlier, as you said, like, hey, this is a ritual or routine that you try to do is just time with yourself. Do you feel like there are times where people don't even know that they're being like unauthentic or
Absolutely.
being two-faced? Because I do think of individuals as they merge into these different environments, or especially now with technology, you can kind of mold and be whatever you want to be potentially without maintaining a consistent level or understanding of who you are.
No, absolutely. I feel like the younger 13 to 18 generation is in that space because of social media and the normalization of portraying or putting an image out that may not necessarily be what actually is. And yeah, I feel like that each group is going to be extremely susceptible to doing that by default without even realizing the danger in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think you're right. I do think the teenage years, there's like pretty vulnerable, or anybody, I didn't get a phone until I was in those teenage years, but nowadays I think just truly any adolescent or kid or teenager that has access to those, whether they have a phone or not, if they get iPad time or they can get on the computer, and now we have access to Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, the list goes on. It is a little bit more challenging to dig deep and kind of learn about yourself when you have all of these hundreds and thousands and millions of influences. So
most of which are negative.
Yeah. How do you feel like as a dad? Because your daughters are how old now, Rod?
I got an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old.
How, and I'm sure this is just going to be a learning curve, but just from a father's perspective, how do you hope to guide and parent your daughters to help them kind of stay true to themselves and explore and learn who they are as individuals?
Well, like I said, first, by just me setting the example and me doing it myself, and as they grow up, me witnessing and seeing me do it. But second, in communicating that, just getting them to believe in themselves from from an organic space. And in that, I feel like the rest of that happens on its own because that's what it was for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I believed in myself and knew who I was at a young age. And because of that, it led to me not caring how I was perceived, whether or not I was accepted. And
Sure.
so I think if I just provide that same type of environment
Mm-hmm.
and obviously speak to it myself, but more than anything, just position them in spaces where they have to tap into that. Like, I would like for it to happen organically.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure they'll do it through various activities like you did. I know
Mm-hmm.
your oldest daughter is already just becoming this little young athlete and star, and so I'm excited to see where she goes because she is just
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
little stud.
she's in gymnastics right now, but even prior to that, runner. She loves to run and
Yeah.
she's been on the treadmill since she could walk. So, yeah, at 8 now, she's faster than most adults. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see that continue to blossom, but uh it's crazy to see your genetics passed and how they manifest, but
Yeah.
to see her at what 5 with like a legit full out six pack is like, what is that? But I'm not mad at it. Like, okay,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Very
it's
good.
crazy.
I like it. All right, Rod, same thing. So we'll go to our nice list now. So these are going to be more motivational, uplifting terms. So 1
Mhm.
to 100, what's your choice?
Let's go 24, my football number.
Okay. Ooh, I like this one. Commit, to carry into action deliberately. So your personal definition, experience, any wisdom that you have regarding the term commit or
uh,
commitment.
that is literally the foundational determining component to doing anything. If you are not committed, you are 100% not going to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish or have any real progression. That's in any personal goal or pursuit, as well as in any relationship. If you are not committed, how is anything good going to come of that if you got one foot in and one foot out? It's impossible. You have to be committed to see or yield anything. It's like in one of the questions you asked me earlier, as far as just good advice, the breakdown of it, the terminology of it is being a farmer. But what that entails or speaks to is, if I was to go out and plant seed and then leave, nothing's growing. I didn't commit to seeing that through. And so a lot of people take that approach of starting something and then thinking that because they started, that's enough. Or because they did step 1, 2, or they did A, B, and C, that's enough. And it's like, no, you have to fully commit to and see through whatever it is that you did until it's done. And so
Mm.
in the reference of being a farmer, but that concept can be applied across the board. If I'm planning on seeing any type of harvest, I gotta plant seed, water seed, fertilize seed, watch seed until seed produces harvest. And that takes months in that process. But
Mm-hmm.
in applying that to life, it takes years. It takes
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice. It takes good days, bad days, in between days. It takes failures. You know what I mean? Like, it takes
Mm-hmm.
what it takes. So without the component of commitment, at the first sign of trouble, most people are out. But commitment won't allow you to do that. And that's talking about how we were talking about relationships earlier. Is like, if I'm with you, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yep.
no there's no other option from that point forward.
Yeah.
Especially if us having a successful relationship is what the goal is.
Right. Very good. I love it, Rod. Anything else? Any other shout outs? Anything you need our listeners to know?
No, I think I think we got some good stuff in.
Absolutely.
To speak to the future in our growth, my growth, your growth, don't believe this will be the last time. So yeah, we'll get another opportunity.
And I would be extremely grateful if you would come back on, because we're going to just keep on keeping on in your fight path. And hopefully I'll just not run out of guests. We're just going to knock on wood, one guest at a time.
No, I
Well,
see it.
For those that are listening or watching and are wanting to follow along, stay connected, you can find Rod on Instagram at work_horse_Rod145. You can also connect with him on Facebook at Rod Moore, or check out his merch website at millions.co and check out some of his fight gear, his shirts, any level of his gear. Tell me what you have on there, Rod.
Right now it's shirts, hats, hoodies, and sweats.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Yeah. I love it. Well, I wish you the very best, Rod, as we merge into 2026. I see all good things happening for you, sir. And I know I can speak
Likewise.
for a lot of people that you really are a motivational person, and you really are a prime example of just showing it. It's not always about what you say, it's about what you do. Even though I appreciate you coming on here and saying a few things, I think you really have just shown over the years what it's all about. And so, like I said, I really look forward to seeing where the rest of your fight game goes and your beautiful family. I wish all the best for you guys, and we'll be in your corner.
Appreciate that. Likewise, man. I thank you all for y'all support constantly, showing up for me constantly. And like I said, it does not go unnoticed, and I'm forever in a state of gratitude for that. And thank you for this opportunity and providing me this space.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for listening to The Grip. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow along on Instagram at The Grip Pod to stay up to date on new episodes. That way you can send over a DM if you've got a question you'd like to hear answered on our roll call series. Now remember, stay sharp, be grounded, and never lose your grip. See you next time.